If someone told me in 1.0 when I had started playing Wuthering Waves that this would be one of the best gacha games with one of the best stories out there, I wouldn't have taken them seriously, but right now, I'm taking my words back.
You serious?
Correct. In this video, I want to talk about Wuthering Waves 2.7 finale story because I didn't expect them to actually deliver on this level. Anyways, Ludwig, tell them to subscribe.
Let's up those numbers!
The perfect thing about it is that this whole story was set up right from the start actually, because they had foreshadowed all of it from Rover's perspective when he was back at Rena Sita in the start. When he came across Brandt and his crew from Rover's perspective, he actually saw what would happen since he saw people turn into tacit discord, which caused his mind to get sent to hell, where he saw all of his comrades and what will happen to them during the events of the Dark Tide. If you go by character order, you will see that first it's Carlotta, then it's Yuno, then it was Phoebe, and then it was Cantarella, then it was Augusta, then it was Brandt, and then finally it was Cartithia, where they literally spoiled her so-called death in the future events. They even hinted that the Harbinger of Dark Tide will be Rover of all the people, when all of the tacit discords were literally calling him Harbinger. They literally set this up right from the start of what was going to happen in the 6 hours of the story. If it wasn't for Galbrena coming to save him, he would have been stuck there. This is how they did the start of the story, by subtly hinting what will happen, and Galbrena's involvement absolutely had me locked in right from the start. This is how a good section of a story is written, since right from the start, it absolutely had me locked in. And next, I want to talk about Galbrena. Personally, I don't think this section would do her any justice. This is how good her character is. I think she deserves another video of her own too, but I will try to point it out and do her justice in this section. Galbrena's character right from the start was set up to be an absolute villain. At the first sight, you won't know that she is a good person because they made her look evil right when you lay your eyes on her. She literally used her fire to quote-unquote attack Rover so he could get out of hell. If someone didn't know her character, they would absolutely think that she attacked him, not to mention with how intimidating she looked right from the start. It was absolutely a perfect setup to make her look like a villain. Especially with that line when she said that she will deliver Leviathan Cartithia's death, which absolutely solidified her role as a villain when she literally came and shot her in this scene. It was so nicely done with how Galbrena came in and shot Cartithia, which ended up with this scene being in absolute slow motion, which signified how important Cartithia's character was, because it is a trope in media to slow down the moments whenever an important character dies, just to show that the character is actually significant. I suppose they do it for the moment to hit people's emotion, and Galbrena looking absolutely apathetic here wasn't really helping her case, which actually ended up making me annoyed, because when I was playing this I thought that she was a villain, okay? They weren't really doing her justice, which reminded me of this scene from Devil May Cry 4 when Dante comes in the church and attacks the villain right at the start. If no one actually knew him, they would think that Dante was a bad person, and they had actually even given his boss battle where Nero fought him, so I'm absolutely betting right now that they took inspiration from Devil May Cry for this scene, because that is the only way they would have gotten the concept of this scene. Not that I'm complaining, although as the story progressed, the game did show subtle signs of her being a good person, where she was destroying the tide spawn that had taken human form. Even her dialogue was there, signaling that looks can be deceiving. And funny thing is that she didn't even care about being seen as a good person. She simply said that people were free to believe what they wanted to believe. From her perspective, actions mattered, not words. So yes, there were subtle actions from her side where you could easily figure it out that she was a good person, like this moment where she was absolutely getting roasted by Fenrico. She decided to save that acolyte from Fenrico's attack and ended up getting impaled in the process. That was insane, because they had showed that she was supposed to be a bad person here and Fenrico was supposed to be a good person, but their actions were absolutely the opposite. And for the love of God, just how many times she actually got impaled in the quest? The devs definitely hate her, which how much suffering she has been through. It was basically like a real life situation where people who lie to others reap the benefits and succeed, while the others who actually say the truth are the ones who actually suffer. Just like how Leviathan had done with people of Renasita, it had deceived them, and this story segment showed it nicely. It gained trust of people by giving false miracles. And I absolutely love how they had showed it here, because this was an interactive way of storytelling which made sure that you would be interested in the story. I hope all of the games actually do this in the future though. That would be absolutely nice if they actually did this, because this kind of method of storytelling isn't something that I've seen in any gacha game before that I've played. As for the Imperator, they were the representation of a good person that actually suffered. They tried to coexist with the Leviathan, but it was all for nothing in the end, which only brought them more misery and ended up with them losing their life. As for Galbrena, she literally helped over with almost everything in this quest. First of all, she helped him get out of the civilization capsule. She played the role of the villain to convince Leviathan that Kartithia was dead, even though they had planned it just to deceive the Leviathan. Not to mention, she took Avidius's power and his bitterness when he was going to die, so she could fulfill his wish of making those people pay who had dared to harm the innocent people of Renasita and Septimont. Also, she literally volunteered to use herself as the anchor in the journeying paradise, just so people could get a chance at winning. Also, need I say that she went against the leader of Fraxidus and was able to help Rover when he was in his worst nightmare, when she literally used her life force and overclocked just so she could save him. Good God, her character played such a big role in the story. I honestly don't think that this one video reviewing the story can actually do justice to her. So I will make a video where I will cover everything about Galbrena. This is how good of a character she is. Without her, there would be no victory in the story. I'm so glad that they saved the character for the final arc of the story. This was absolutely amazing. Her character was nicely executed by Kuro Games. I also want to talk about Qiyuan. For someone who had less screen time, his impact was also really great. Like, this guy straight up came out of nowhere to help Rover. How did he even take friend Nico's lantern to give it to Rover to help him against the dark tide is beyond me, since no one would randomly help any person, but I guess they actually made a proper swordsman out of him, since the number of swordsmen I have seen in media usually follow a code of honor, basically like Jin Sakai or Zoro, who have helped people regardless of the situation. So I could see why they made someone like him who follows a certain code of honor. And what's funny is that they straight up gave him a fight scene against Scar of all the people, who is one of the strongest people in the game till now. And the way he actually took control and handled this situation was absolutely amazing, because I didn't expect Qiyuan to handle Scar of all the characters. But I will say one thing here, I'm sure that they took inspiration from Demon Slayer for this cutscene, because just look at it. No way this isn't inspired from Demon Slayer. Scar is basically like Muzan here in this scene, and other characters are like Hashira. They were trying to attack him. So I suppose once again anime is a beacon of inspiration for other stuff, which I like. I'm not even mad that they actually copied this from Demon Slayer. I'm just absolutely surprised. Also, I wanted to talk about Christoforo too here. This guy is one of the best villains in any gacha game that I've ever played. I love how they haven't even tried to water him down, because the better the villain will be, the better the story is. I'm absolutely sure that they actually took inspiration from Johan, who is one of the best antagonists of all time, because of this line precisely here. This was basically the same line as the one from Monster, where Johan says this. I'm absolutely shocked as an anime fan, someone who gets references of the anime in the game, especially this line too.
How many tacit discords have you devoured to stand here now?
Do you count how many gemberries you've eaten in your life?
貴様、一体何人の命をその傷のために吸い取った？
お前は今まで食ったパンの枚数を覚えているのか？
Where it was JoJo reference in the line Galbrena said, which was similar to the one which Dio says to Jonathan in part 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I also want to say that the final battle against Thenodian was absolutely insane. With how it was done, my only complaint here is that why did they actually design it like Fleur de Lis though? They could have actually come up with a different boss design, but hey, it's alright, it is what it is. This final cutscene where all of them jumped on her and absolutely pinned her down was insane. I loved the music and how it was done. Basically, it reminded me of the fast-paced combats from Naruto actually, especially the one where Sasuke and Naruto fought that Momoshiki guy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is exactly how it looked. Also, I don't get one thing, is Abby a Thenodian or Imperator too, since the Leviathan asked him why did he betray them, which was slightly comical. Also, Fenrico's English voice actor deserves a raise in this scene, he absolutely does. This guy is an absolute legend. I love the conclusion with Galbrena joining the Black Shows, and I can't wait for the upcoming patches. I'm absolutely hyped for Chisa next because I absolutely want to see how they are going to execute her. And this one last bonus thing that I wanted to add here was Avidius. He was an absolute Chad because initially he was created by Christoforo for his own gains, but he gained a mind of his own and decided to think for himself, becoming a man who found his purpose and didn't bow down to the forces that were controlling him. A proper story and an ending for a man who was looking for his purpose and wanted to be a hero. He absolutely has my respect. Anyways guys, that's about it for this video. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you all think? And I will see you all in the next video. That's about it. Peace out. Have fun.